Hi everyone, Michelle Fixit here, and Charlie Fixit. Say hi! Hi! Say hi! So this video is going to be what it's like to be a mommy to a medically complex child. So, the past couple of hours, we've been hanging out and we've been trying to schedule appointments because Charlie needs to have, yes you, needs to have his appointments scheduled for his specialist as an annual checkup. He has some specialists that he sees at quarterly intervals throughout the year, and then he has others that he has to see annually. And then just for fun, we have extra stuff that we're supposed to do that we haven't had time to do because we're busy cats. And so this is kind of like if your child is medically complex and you feel like you just can't get everything done, you are not alone. I have lots and lots of things that I have to do every single day outside of caretaking medically complex child, homeschooling my daughter, having an actual job, having hobbies, mommying all around, animals, life, everything else. And so sometimes it's really frustrating the way that the medical system works because if you're new to this, some hospitals have it where it's ping, 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 and you're good to go. But then every now and then there's a kink in the system. So, for example, Charlie has a lot of specialists that are at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Don't you, buddy? You do. So Johns Hopkins is really great because they have the MyChart system. However, pause for effect, when you have to schedule your first appointment with Johns Hopkins, you have to actually call them. Even though they have the MyChart where you can schedule appointments in the future, you have to actually physically call them, stay on hold for, however long, possibly leave messages that may or may not get calls received, and you have to keep up with all these appointments because Charlie here used to have a cardiologist, an otolaryngologist, an orthopedic specialist for his club feet, which is not through Johns Hopkins, an orthopedic specialist for his congenital torticollis that he had, and oh goodness. And then, he's had seizures and stuff. And now he wants to do potty training while I'm trying to do a video. So it's kind of frustrating. Yes, buddy. It's kind of frustrating because some places you can call and you can get a hold of a person and then boom, bang, you schedule your appointment and you're good to go and you don't have to worry about it or think about it again until the appointment comes up, and then you just have to make sure it's on your calendar and you're fine. Other doctors have it where you have to call, leave a message, hopefully not screen that call because, now you're waiting for them to call you back. Sometimes they can get you in within a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes months. And so it's just really frustrating because, the children are our future and specialists are important and everything, and it's a lot. So I have unsuccessfully been trying to make appointments for him because we went into his pediatrician for his typical baby checkup for 2 years old, and the pediatrician was like, hey, have you done his genetic screening yet? And I'm like, no, because we've had all these other appointments, he's had all these different things, and now he's doing exceptionally well, but he still has some issues, and so she's like, okay, well, you definitely need to get the microarray done. And I was like, okay, well, Johns Hopkins is taking a really long time to get that scheduled. We had one scheduled for me at one point for cardiogenetics, and then when he started having seizures, I had to cancel a bunch of appointments, and for some reason, it took a long time to schedule the initial appointments, and then once they were scheduled, and then we had to cancel them, it's like they got mad at us or something. So now I call, I leave messages, and no one calls me back to reschedule these appointments, and I can't go into the MyChart system and schedule the appointments. So I have literal testing that I need to get done for me and for him that I can't schedule. So being that our pediatrician's office is in a totally different state, in a totally different area, she's like, hey, why don't you try the Inova healthcare system? So now I have experience in Children's National Hospital, which when I was pregnant with Charlie, we magically got a person that just scheduled all of our appointments. So we had literally a full day of appointments at Children's to get all these different things checked with him while he was in utero because of the complexities that he had. And that was fantastic. And then since then, it's been trying to track down places to be able to get appointments scheduled. And it's just been very frustrating. So I call Inova and So I'm given this sheet of like Inova Children's Specialty Guide, and they've highlighted the sections that I need. So then I call and I'm trying to get a hold of someone in the genetics department, and a person answers the phone after a little bit of a wait, not too terrible, she sounded very nice, and she's like, oh no, you, regardless of your insurance, whether they need it or not, we require referrals for any specialty care. So like, okay, so I need to call my pediatrician's office back, right? And she was like, yes, you have to get them to fax over the referral. They have to give a referral for any type of testing or any type of appointments that you want to schedule. And then you have to get a copy for yourself so that way you can refer to that when you call us to reschedule your appointment. I'm like, okay. So then I call the pediatrician's office, and they're like, yeah, we're going to leave a message with the nurse person, and we're going to, call you back. So now I have to remember, in the midst of all the other stuff, including like taking care of these children, that I have to wait for a call from the nurse to get the referrals, to schedule them again, or try to schedule them, to get all of this process started. And like, this is what's frustrating, is how many people in our country need appointments, can't schedule them, don't have quality insurance, don't have the time to dedicate all these hours to calling and trying to schedule the appointments. Like, how many people do that? And why would people be trying to schedule appointments if they don't need them? Like, at least I have that going on for Johns Hopkins, where like, I call, I get my appointment scheduled, or I have to leave a message, whatever, and then I have to not screen my calls to make sure that I get that appointment, and then we're in, basically. Maybe we have a couple month wait, like his nephrologist for his kidneys and stuff. That appointment took a couple months to get, because I get it, like, it's pediatric nephrology. How many baby kidney doctors are there out there? But it's just frustrating because it's a lot to keep track of, in addition to normal life stuff. And it's disheartening to have additional hoops to go through. So I'm not very impressed with Inova right now, because I have to get these referrals to be able to schedule these appointments. And this further delays the now over 2 years, that this child has needed to have a microarray and now a cardiogenetics testing done, as well as neurology, because, since we're resolving some conditions, why don't we just start having seizures, so that we have to get checked out by a neurologist. And I'm also still really grumpy with Johns Hopkins, because the whole reason that we need to have a different pediatric neurologist to check him out and make sure he's okay with the seizures and stuff is because the pediatric neurology department scheduled him when he was having seizures for an appointment that was going to be months out. Somehow, and nowhere in Johns Hopkins will they let me know, his appointment that was months out to get to see a neurologist was canceled. Not by me, by just someone. And they're like, we don't know. I called. They're like, we don't know. It just got canceled. So this is what it's like, being the mother of a medically complex child who's now playing on the toilet. And that's why I'm having to hold you guys. So if you're new to this, learn your system for the hospital that you're working with. And if you have one like Johns Hopkins where they don't require a referral and you have to make multiple calls to schedule appointments, that's great. But if you have one like Inova, you're going to need a referral for everything, even if your insurance doesn't require it. And that, like I said, that's frustrating, because what mom wants to be spending all their time scheduling appointments for babies? Not this mom. And then he's supposed to be getting new orthotics. Like, he hates his boots and bars because he has bilateral club feet. And so we tried the original Ponzetti bar. He didn't like that. He screams. Everybody says, oh, they grow out of it and they just learn to deal with it and accept it and everything else. Well, this one doesn't. He's different. And so then they're like, try the Dobbs bar. So then we tried the Dobbs bar, and he hates the Dobbs bar more than he hates the Ponzetti bar, because the Dobbs bar like moves, and like he has learned to like have his feet stuck and then like just do tricks with it. And so they're like, well, because he screams all night long. He's got other things going on at night. It's like having a newborn that just isn't a newborn anymore. He wakes up a lot. They're like, well, try some orthotics. I got that prescription, or the referral, or whatever you want to call it, the order for the orthotics months ago. But because I've had all this other life stuff going on, and my own appointments, because, why not just like keep everything chaotic and busy? I haven't had a chance to schedule it. So then I finally had a chance to call the clinic for that to get him fitted for his custom orthotics. And they're like, oh, that's a patient right now. I'm going to have to call you back. So now I have to sit in the bathroom randomly making a video because the lady said she was going to call me back in 5 or 10 minutes. And I know that with everything that I have going on in my life, if I don't just sit down in here for 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to forget that she's going to make that, she's going to call me, and I might screen that call. And he really needs to get orthotics so that we can both get a little bit more sleep and he can still have quality care with his bilateral club feet. So, if you have questions about what it's like being a mom to a medically complex child, I'm Michelle Fix-It. I like to fix things, and for some reason, life just gives me lots of things to work on fixing. As my son wants to go back to the potty training thing. So if you have questions about how to care for your child that has club feet, a club foot, unilateral club feet, bilateral club feet, child with seizures, kidney issues, congenital torticollis, just scheduling appointments and needing someone to talk to about stuff, a baby that just wants to throw stuff off the toilet and then get it back again. He also had his Pyroban sequence. He's had a lot of stuff. And, you know, when he gets older, if he doesn't like these videos being out here, then I will take them down gladly. But I want him to know how much I cared about him and how much, you know, time and dedication and stuff. Because since he has some of these conditions, when he, you know, if he has children one day, he may end up having his children have these conditions. And he at least needs to be able to navigate. And I really hope that by the time that this little guy decides to have, if he decides to have children, that we will be able to help him with stuff. And now I have Google calling me for some reason. Don't know why. But you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe. I have to talk to Google.